Good morning. Welcome to EXSIN Live. It's Dave and Phil. We're going to talk about a subject that's near and dear to our heart, and it's salespeople. And what we're seeing is in some cases, business owners struggle to hire and find the right salespeople because they don't have a scientific method to figure out if they're going to be good or not.
Yeah, and they also haven't started with that clear picture of who is their ideal hire for their position, right? I mean, they've got to really look at it. And then to your point, you can't just, please don't trust your gut on hiring people. Please don't do that.
I'm going to sidebar here on the science thing. I don't know what happened in the last few years. We've forgotten that science and math are important, and that
they are.
And there's ways out there scientifically to make better decisions.
Yeah.
And there are tools out there. One of the tools we use is the SPQ Gold assessment, and we've talked about it before. I've taken it. Phil's taken it. It nailed me.
Yeah.
It said I had no business in sales, 10 years ago or 13 years ago, whenever I took it. But it showed me the areas I needed to work on to be better at the trade and do things. And I'm telling you, folks, if you're not doing this and you don't know what you're bringing in, A, you don't know what kind of training you're going to need. Yeah. And B, you don't really know what you're getting.
Yeah, you're guessing. You're just guessing.
Your buddy said they're a good dude.
Yeah. And listen, sometimes you'll get lucky. But I don't know if you want to risk the growth of your company on luck. But I will say that, pardon me, I will say this. I think one of the most important things we do is you got to take time when you're interviewing people. You got to trust, in our case, SPQ Gold, but trust an assessment that's going to guide you and really help you fill in those blanks, fill in the shade a little bit, right? You got to trust your interview process with people, but you also have to make sure that you understand who it is that you're wanting. We see a lot of people call people salespeople that are not salespeople.
They're order takers.
They just don't. They're not operating daily as a sales professional. That may be their title, but that's not what they're doing. And so you've really got to get a clear understanding. That's why we always harp on boring things like job descriptions and having your ideal client, having your ideal, if you're a hiring manager, your ideal hire. All these different things that you've got to have. That's the blocking and tackling to ensure that you get the right person in the organization. And also look at it this way. You don't want to put somebody in a job that they're not going to succeed in.
No.
I mean, just as a human being, you don't want to do that.
Well, let's talk math. How much money are you paying? What salary are you paying your salesman?
Yeah.
$50,000 maybe. Some cases more.
A lot more in some cases.
A lot more, right?
Yeah.
And if they're not producing in a timely manner for you because they're not the right fit or they don't have the skill set you need, now you got to go through the process again, because you're going to end up after about 90 days, they're either going to figure out they don't want to be there, they can't do the job, or you're going to figure out they can't do the job and don't need to be there. And now you're starting over again and you've wasted a quarter.
If you're lucky, you will pull the trigger in 90 days. Most times what happens is you say, well, I can fix it. Well, we'll hit reset. Well, we'll do this. Well, we'll do that. And then you wake up and you got 6-9 months invested and it's just not meant to be. So try to avoid all that by upfront approaching it with a well thought out plan based on science with the assessments. And we strongly recommend SPQ Gold. I've been using it for years and years and years, and it's just spot on. It's just spot on indicating whether or not a person is going to go up and do those activities necessary to build a flourishing sales career.
And the craziest part about this, we have not seen a salesperson yet that's done well on that test that doesn't do well at building relationships and selling and closing business.
Yeah. That's the big thing.
But there's two pieces of that, right? You've had somebody you like, you want to be one of your sales team members. Now you know what they need to work on. You know what their weak points are.
Right.
So even if you like them, you still want to hire them, at least you know what the path is to get them to be successful.
Yep.
And if they perform well on the assessment and have no call reluctance, well, then you know they're your fit.
Well, and we had a client last week that sent us an email and said, hey, I've got this person I think they would be great. Listed all the great things about them. But they're going to want a much higher salary than what is normally paid for this position to transition. You can get caught up. It's like dating the handsome guy or the pretty girl, right? You can get caught up in what the book looks like. You don't pay attention to what's inside the book, and it could be a real problem. But so we said, well, let's do this. Let's take the assessment. Took the assessment, killed the assessment.
Yeah, he did really well. Yep.
Okay. So then he goes, well, I don't know. What do you think we should? I said, well, let's walk through it. And, so did well in the assessment. He checks all the boxes. But the requirement for income, guaranteed income in a sales position, and this is just me, I'm old school. When you've got somebody in a sales position that's wanting a high base salary to go do sales, I run from those deals. And I guarantee you I've missed out on some good salespeople because of that over the years, but I've also saved myself a lot of money over the years on those deals, because salespeople, I'm okay with paying a small salary if that's what the industry requires, or if that's what's necessary. But people that have to go sell are going to sell more if they're built for sales. They just are. If they don't have that cushion, that soft spot to land, because they're not out doing the prospecting, not keeping their top of funnel full, they're not networking, they're just not doing all the things that a professional business developer or salesperson should be doing, then they're not going to eat. That's a good motivator. Good motivators to get up and go do the things you need to do every day so you make money. Those are the people we want. We have a guy with another client, a gentleman that's in sales that he'd been in retail sales, but never really been in like business to business sales. And this guy's a monster, just an absolute beast. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
He is a beast.
And he's like, man, he goes, I messed up. He goes, I should have negotiated no salary and straight commission when I went to work here.
He did.
And he sees it now because he's done the math. Oh, gosh, darn,
Right.
So the people that produce, and I get it, you got to have some financial means if you're going to go straight commission. But I've growing up in that world being straight commission, I wouldn't know how else to do it.
That's a tell if they come in, they want a high salary. You need to really look at that. It's a tell if they come in and tell how great they are, but they don't understand the sales process, right? And what I mean by that is, what does being a salesman, business development expert look like? You have to understand that there's some requirements of sewing there, right? Yep. So set your questions up to make sure they understand what you need in your company. And if it's a technical sales position, I get it.
They still have to be able to sell.
They still have to be able to connect with people, build relationships, and close deals.
Yeah.
And if they can't, they're not going to stay there. They're going to move along.
Typically, people don't want to, you want to have fulfillment and feel successful in your professional career. And sales is a great job when you're selling. It's the worst job in the world when you're not, because it's just like the big, bright lights shining on you every day. You walk in and you're not selling, because everybody knows it in the sales
you're
organization.
Still selling. You're selling your golf clubs.
You're selling all your stuff, pay your bills, but it's a great career if you're engaged and you go do the right things. But all I'm saying simply is make sure that we don't put people in positions where they're not going to be successful.
That's fact.
As hiring managers.
So this is a short one today because we want to talk about, developing a good sales team. Define your process. If you need help with that, reach out to us. We're happy to give you the stuff we have to help you build that process and make your team better, because we want to see you be successful.
Yep. We're ready.
So with that, Dave and Phil, we are out of here.